welcome to Coffee and Connections with the Chief. And I am a different chief than you're probably used to seeing. My name is Chris Warren, and I was sworn in as the police chief in Wolfeboro on February 1st of this year. And with me is Captain Mark Levy, and this is my first time here. So I'm kind of in a training program, if you will, learning how to do the program. Thank you for having me. Mm-hmm. So tell me how the format works.
So the format is basically everyone's going to get to know this guy right here. I mean, that's the goal for the first one. As you know, we talk about stuff that's going on related to the PD, like the town vote. We'd like to get that out there because it's very important, March 12th, at the town hall. It starts at 8 o'clock, goes till 7 o'clock p.m. Those are the times frames. So if you get there earlier, you're going to be in line. If you get there later than 7, they're going to kick you out. We'd like to get through the operations, our PD, our dispatch, animal control. We'd like to talk about all that stuff, the upcoming summer, what we have plans for the summer.
Okay, and this is probably a good time to jump in and tell you that I've met quite a few of you already on the streets or parking lots or different places throughout town. I do plan on being there all day on the 12th, so hopefully I'll get to meet even more of you. And I know you're planning on being there for a lot of the day.
Correct.
As well.
Yes, all the way until the nighttime.
Well, I guess I'll just tell you a little bit about myself so you have an idea who I am. Let's see, I had worked for the town of Wolfeboro for about, a year and a half or so, would you say?
I think that was it.
Part-time. I had retired from law enforcement, and I'm a failure. I failed at retiring. I started my law enforcement career in 1981 in a town called Allenstown, which some of you may be familiar with. And I went through the 64th session of the New Hampshire Police Academy in 1983 for that town.
Yeah. Sorry.
I don't want to know if you were even alive, okay? Fast forward up to 1990. The town of Campden, New Hampshire, had decided that they wanted to start a police department and have an appointed position as a police chief and one other officer. The police chief hired was Ken Chase, and he poached me out of Plymouth, where I was a police officer there and training officer. I was the night guy, he was the day guy. And I worked for Campden Police from that date until 1999. I was appointed police chief of the town of Campden. I remained there until I retired in 2020, right in the middle of COVID. COVID year was an interesting year for a lot of us. COVID year was an interesting one with me, where it started off with our house burning down, my favorite dog dying, and my retirement. So there's an awful lot to process in one time. I had left law enforcement. I had trained the person to take my position, and I had several years in doing the job. Right after that, I took a part-time position at the Carroll County Attorney's Office here in Carroll County, and I worked there for about 15 months. After that, I left there, and I went back to a part-time job I had since 2005, and that was teaching at Plymouth State University in the Criminal Justice Department. I had been there after I graduated from Plymouth with a graduate degree in education. They offered me an adjunct position to teach the newly structured Criminal Justice Department. So I joined the full-time staff there, and I taught there right up until accepting this position as police chief, where I finally retired that position after 19 years. So my wife Daintree and I were laughing about that, saying this is the first time I've had one job since the early 90s.
Yeah. So it's pretty nice, actually.
It's great to focus all my attention on one thing. The town of Wolfeboro so far has been very welcoming. I've been thrilled with the reception I've gotten. We have some work to do, and I'm looking forward to doing that work. I bring about a lot of experiences and education and just trials and tribulations of law enforcement since the 1980s
Yeah.
and right up until present. So I look forward to being your police chief and to meeting all of you.
So the big thing is that he, prior to becoming the chief, he was here in a part-time status, and he was working on policies. And we've been talking about policies on this show for quite a while, and updating it and getting on to a state accreditation, which is very similar to CALIA, but it's statewide. So it's based on state of New Hampshire.
Yeah.
I like that personally, a little better than the CALIA version, which is federal. But so we're working on that. He has been working on that prior to it, and still working on it right now. So we got our policies. We're getting them updated, and it's coming pretty good right now. So.
Yeah, I think it's coming along really well. Law enforcement has changed a lot over the years. CALIA, as the captain has mentioned, is a form of accreditation. It's a private company, and they accredit through similar policies and procedures throughout the country. The problem with that, and the problem I saw as a police chief in Campton back in the early 2000s, was that it didn't apply. A lot of the types of policies that were good for, say, Albany, New York, or Buffalo just don't apply to a small town in New Hampshire. So a lot of these policies were NAs, 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 and it just didn't seem like it was one size fits all. It was around that time when we spoke about the possibility of getting a state accreditation, much like Massachusetts has, where it's a little bit more easier to deal with, and it's a lot more appropriate to the agency and to the population of that town. There was a major push for it. There wasn't a whole lot of understanding of who or how or what organization was going to kind of keep it from getting out beyond the fence, if you will. So recently, the New Hampshire Police Standards has taken that ball, and they're working with agencies that want to get involved in New Hampshire state accreditation. Wolfeboro is one of those communities. For years and years and years, small towns in New Hampshire, and I dare say across the nation, have relied on everybody else's policies. Somebody somewhere wrote a bunch of police policies, and then everybody else started using those for their own use, and we whited them out and put our names in, and tried to make that round peg fit in a square hole. Now we are designing them specifically for our agencies, specifically for what happens downtown in Wolfeboro, specifically what happens at, say, the Great Hall or the docks or something like this. It's very specific to Wolfeboro. So that's what I've been spending a lot of my time on, is just writing policies that will fit our community, and that our community will fit with everything else in play.
Yeah. So after that, as you can see, the building, it's still getting worked on, phase one. I know you can still see through it. So the goal is to close that up, and that's what we're waiting for. So they're going on it. So they're saying the logistic part of it is basically somewhat be done by the end of April now, hopefully. Could be into May by looking at it, but you just never know how fast they can move, and the weather changes that pretty frequently up here, because we know snow comes in, makes it hard. They do have a roof on, so that makes it a lot easier. But check our Facebook page and see the updates on it. I know the town manager and the fire chief are very good at taking photos, especially on the weekends when nobody's really around and they can get in there. So, and then we tag it onto our page. So keep an eye on that. It's moving along, and hopefully we get to phase 2 by sometime in May, and they'll start knocking down those existing bays, so that would be something else to see. So,
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
yeah, so it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice to have some of the areas that are well needed for our officers, like a locker room, shower. I know the fire department has all that, but we don't. We do not. Remember, we started our when we first started, we were in the basement of the town hall in the town of Wolfeboro, and eventually we kind of grew out of that and moved into the bottom left half of that building, and then we took half of it now. So the fire department have been great landlords. So as we're tenants sitting in the building, but they're great to work with. I'm very happy that it's a public safety building and we're still collaborating together and working together.
It is very very nice to see different agencies within a town being able to work together as well as they do. We had the same type of situation in Campton, where we had the police, fire, and selectmen, all, and town clerk, all on the same campus. And it requires you to see each other a lot more often, and you'd be amazed at how much people have in common, or even they communicate about something that's going on in town a little bit easier, and you have that ongoing conversation. So that's going to work out very well.
Yep. So with the department, the police side of it all, as you know, Lieutenant Maloney retired last month, which in February 9th, I believe it was. And so right now, currently, as you saw our Facebook page, we have opening positions. Right now we have 3. So we are taking resumes, cover letters, anything that, if you're interested in this position or this career, send a resume to myself or the chief, and we'll get in contact with you. So we'll go from there.
I look forward to hearing from you. And I certainly look forward to seeing you on the 12th of March.
Yeah. So you'll see a lot of us. That's a good day, so it's good to see everybody on that day. So with the town, so we got a lot of directed patrols, which we call areas of concerns of speeding. That's really where we are. So if you see officers down at Pleasant Valley Road, Bay Street, North Main Street, Pine Hill Road, you're kind of getting warned right now. So we're putting it out there. The officers will be out there. They're checking speeds because we have complaints on those general areas. So I'm putting it out there, so be careful. All of a sudden it gets a little warm, like 46, 45, which is shocking here, but it's warm. Yeah, which is going to be next week on a vacation week. Speeds go up. It's amazing how good weather speeds go. And electronic devices, I think I say this very frequently on this show, you can't use, it's hands-free for a reason. So if you actually have a cell phone, mine's over there, but in your hand, and you're talking on the speaker, it's still not hands-free. You're holding the phone. The phone's got to be put down. It's great to have Bluetooth. Some vehicles have it, some don't. Most of them are coming in with it. It's the older ones that don't really right now. They have devices that can get Bluetooth, so you can purchase it, an accessory to the car. Or you can just mount it and then hit the speaker, but you're not touching it. That's fine. You just can't hold it because it's a distraction, really. That's what they're looking at.
Yeah, and as somebody who rides a motorcycle, and for those of you purists out there, I have an Indian Roadmaster. I would plea to you to speak to your family members about distracted driving. That is a number one danger for those of us on 2 wheels especially. I think they make the cars so easy to drive these days and so comfortable that some people just have other things they want to do, whether it's apply makeup or eat dinner or catch up on a phone conversation or emails. And just that little bit of time has been measured by some scientists to be very similar to being legally impaired by alcohol. So I'd ask you just to take a few minutes and pull over if you need to make that phone call or adjust something before you get to your location. And I'm sure there's another motorist or bicyclist or motorcyclist who would be highly appreciative of that you do.
So we're also planning for Memorial Day weekend. We're getting there. It's coming. I get it. It's still like 2 months away, but we have the Memorial Day parade on that Monday. So they'll be using basically from the 2 gas stations there on Center Street, South Main intersection, and going all the way down to the downtown area, and doing a few stops here and there. But be prepared. We'll talk about it more as we go along. We're getting prepared for that. We're getting prepared for 4th of July. I know, it's only February and we're already looking at 4th of July, so there's a lot of preparation for us on that end too, because we have a lot of people that come to this town because it's beautiful here. I mean, the summer is gorgeous. The winter is nice too. I enjoy the summer a little bit better, the warmth.
You don't
Just
even
me.
ride, so.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're getting ready for all those days that are coming up that are going to be busy around this town, and we're looking at the downtown area and trying to do what we did last year very well, is get visibility, cars moving. And we're going to enforce that 2-hour parking and keep the parking and everyone moving along. So I think it worked well last year. We had the mountain bikes down there. We had 2 of them. Hopefully we'll have that again this year, and that's our goal moving forward.
And I'm also excited about having a downtown. I'm a firm believer that police should be out walking in a downtown. That you'll see. I know you're going to be out walking because I'm going to be out walking. And I think going back 40 years when I was doing foot patrols, that was one of my better memories of doing policing, was getting out and walking on the main street, speaking to people and being approachable and not just being that image in a cruiser that goes by. And I think it's important. So I hope to see you all on the main street as well.
Yep. So with dispatch is, we're all full staff, doing wonderful in there. So next month I'll get the yearly stats for the 2023 and get those out to everybody, and compare it to 2022. I always like to do that to see where we are moving forward with all the calls coming into dispatch. They're still open even with the construction. Parking's still the same. Just be careful of the trucks going in and out. You'll see them. You can't miss them. But until we get to phase 3 where they're really doing the main building that's in the front, there'll be some changes, and we'll get that out to you on our Facebook page, web page, any which way we can get it out there. There are going to be a few changes because they're going to be working on the main building, so we're going to have to figure out a call box or something else, but we'll still have parking for the public to come in here and talk to an officer or a dispatcher one way or the other.
And that's the next meeting, next show?
Well, the next show will be more of the stats and everything, but...
And coffee?
And coffee, yeah. We really have to bring coffee. You know what we really have to do? We have to get back downtown. I think that's what we're going to work on, is getting to a place in the downtown area so we can sit with the public. And hopefully the public comes in and chit-chats with us.
Can ask some questions.
That's what we like to do. Plus, we like to have coffee while we're down there.
Coffee's good.
Coffee's good. Keeps it rolling. So we do have Click It a Ticket that's going to be coming up in May. This is part of the New Hampshire Highway Safety Grants. What the Click It a Ticket is really education and enforcement of seat belts, 18 and under. Remember, New Hampshire, you don't need it, but 18 and under, our children need to be wearing seat belts. So we're going to be out there. I'll get the dates and stuff like that, or you'll see us at the school. Don't be concerned. Don't worry, we'll get it out there on Facebook. While we're out there, we do this every year. There's usually 2 officers at a time. You'll see them at the high school in the morning, then you'll see them at Carpenter School, and then you'll see them at Crescent Lake. But we're checking seatbelts. That's the main goal, plus all other violations that are in view. So, but
That's it. Even though New Hampshire remains the only state in the union that doesn't require seatbelt use for adults, it's good modeling, and it's certainly good safety. I was not a believer until I went through some advanced school in crash reconstruction, and I was amazed at what can happen in just a fraction of a second, where you think you can hold on to something, or you can hold yourself back from getting propelled towards the dashboard, and you can't. But it's more importantly, when you have children or younger people in the car, is if you seat belt without even acting like you're thinking about it, it's good modeling behavior, and they'll start doing the same thing just to be like you.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
So that's pretty much all I have for the operation part of the PD. I think that kind of updates everything. Remember, we have commissioners meeting every third Thursday. Voting March 12th. That's a big day. A lot of things on that. Warrant articles to look through, read them, understand them. If you have any questions, you could call us. We could give the best guidance of what they are, but town hall might be a better one as they make those, develop those warrant articles. But we do have our cruiser that we ask for every year. Remember, this is really the officers'
It's their office.
their desk. That's how we get to these calls, and we really don't like to see, we have a lot of cars that are over 100,000. So we have 9 cars right now. Remember, we used to have 11. We went down to, we lost 2 this year. What are they called? The Tauruses. So we've lost all the Tauruses. They are gone. So they were 2013, and it's 2023. That's not bad. That's 10 years with those vehicles. We were holding on to them. The underneath was hurting. The salt just gets to these vehicles after how many miles that we do put on it and idle with these vehicles. There is a lot of idling, unfortunately. So we're down to 9 cars. We're hoping for your vote on March 12th for that police vehicle. We're getting another Interceptor. This will get us all Interceptors, Explorers in the fleet. So as we move forward, the upfitting costs should go down a lot, because we won't need a lot of those accessories, light bars, inside seats. We'll be able to transfer over to the new ones. But Ford is very good, and they are a business like Motorola, where eventually you have to update a few things, and the vehicle tweaks a little.
Tweaks.
And I know in 2025, the Ford Explorer is doing a major tweak, which they usually do every 5 years. But they keep the inside as the same as they possibly can with the Interceptor. So if you're driving a 2000, what do I have? I think I have 16. It's pretty much the inside's the same as a new one that you purchased today. So, when we go into training and something does happen, it's mental memory. So it's nice to have everything all the same when you're in that vehicle. So
Yeah.
but yeah, so that's all I got today. And anything else?
I would just invite anybody to stop by the station, or if you see me out walking, please don't be shy. Come up and have a conversation. I'd like to get to know as many of you as I can.
Welcome back. Safety tip of the month with the captain. The chief, we'll get him next month. So the safety tip of the month for this year, for this month, is going to be the ice. So be careful of the ice. It's getting to March, the end of March. When we get into April up here in New Hampshire, it's going to be melting. It's already starting to melt. We did have a late ice out, I believe we did this year. But we did get the fishing derby in, so that was a good thing. Be careful of your bob houses. Get them out on time. Don't keep them out there. Fish and Game will be out there checking on you for that stuff. And be careful of the ice. Check with it. I believe there's some websites that you can check to make sure the ice is going to be safe, but do a check before you get out there. All right. Thank you.